there's been things that I've learned, like one time I was out and I hopped on an elevator and some guy looked at me and he was like, "Hey, how are you?" And I was like, "I'm good. How are you?" And he was like, "Good. What are you doing in this building?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm seeing my doctor." And then he says, "Oh, that's cool. I work here." And I was like, "That's great." And then I knew he knew who I was right away, but then he grabbed my hips and was like, "Come on, let me just eat you out." And I was like, "What? Like, I'm just in here." Actually, I didn't even say that. Sorry. He's like, "Do you want to hang out sometime?" And I was like, "No, I'm just leaving the doctor's." And then he's like, "Come on, let me eat you out," and grabs my hips, right? And at the time, this is about a year and a half ago, I just like freaked out and panicked. And I got off the elevator at the next elevator stop. And then when I got back in, I stopped at another floor and this lady was there. And I literally was like, and it set me off course for like 4 or 5 days. Again, I was dysregulated. So all of this ties into this story now because yesterday I was taking my dogs for a walk and I am at this like beautiful flat field. And then from the field, there's a lake and you walk down into the bushes to go to the lake. And then it's like a small trail that goes around it. So I'm like, okay, wow, it's so beautiful. I even filmed a video of just the trees, the birds and the flowers. And I was like, this is so beautiful. What a beautiful day. And I walked down into the bushes. And the first thing I see when I turn the bushes is a man, dick out. And he's like, la, 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 right? And I'm like, ew. And he's like, la, 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 come here. He was literally jerking his dick in the bushes at the park. He didn't know me, guys. So this part has nothing to do with me. And I realized how much more equipped I am to handle things that happen in life because my immediate response was rage. I never used to feel rage for things that would happen to me in a negative way like that. But I was like, ew, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you're fucking disgusting. Like, I'm going to call the cops. So he leaves and then I'm walking around and I'm like, that was fucking nasty as fuck. Right? So I'm like walking around and then he pops out in front of me. And when he pops out in front of me, he still has his dick out and he's like, come here, come here, come here, right? And I immediately picked up my phone, took a picture. Well, first I picked up my phone, called 911, charged him. Like I charged him. I have a vest that I attached my dogs to. So I had 3 dogs attached to me. And then Pork, I wanted to get aggressive. So I'm like, ew, you fucking weirdo. And I'm like having Pork growl. So I'm growling, and I'm like, come on, Pork, get angry. Like, and I'm like chasing him all around the park because then I was like, no, this is fucking gross. You need to go to jail. So then I started chasing him around until he disappeared, got in my car, then drove around to chase him, to take a photo of him to show the cops. And it was just like, I was like, what the fuck is this day? But it was all, no, for sure. He could have been anything. And it was so wild. But long story short is I got in my car after I'd spoke to the police and I was like, I'm a little activated right now, but I was like, right? But it wasn't like a scared thing. Like normally something like that would happen and I would freeze and I would have been like, okay, and just like walked away and I would have freezed. But this time, not only was I aggressively angry, charging at him, which showed a lot of progress in my work, but also when I got into my car, I was able to bring my own